Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Breakfast with Unity. So, today we're going to be making a cool lightning ball effect to complement our, cube thing that we've been messing around with. We'll be moving on to other things tomorrow. I just wanted to finish off the rest of the effects that I used in this little demo. So, we added a couple days ago. Where did we put it in? Built-in shaders? Yeah, here it is. We added a few textures in our episode a few days ago, and we only used a couple of them. We didn't use the flash texture, we didn't use the lightning texture, and we didn't use the window texture. And we're probably not going to use the window texture. We're definitely going to use the lightning texture today, and I'm actually going to put it in a new folder because of that. So we're going to create a folder. We're going to call this 13, and we're going to call it lightning ball. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this in here so that people know that we're working with it. Textures on this series, on this episode, on this scene. And we're going to we're going to look at our scene from before, which is particle glow. I'm just going to duplicate it, and we're going to throw it into lightning ball. We're going to rename it to lightning ball. All right. So here we go. So we're going to hit play here. And right now, when we shoot our ball, it's this little, semi-transparent sphere. You can barely see it. It's not particularly useful. We just set it up because we needed something, and we wanted it to not obscure our view too much. I actually wanted to look obscure a little bit more now, and I want it to actually look like something powerful. So we're going to create this, force lightning ball thing. What we're going to do is, first we're just going to create a material. We're going to create a material. We're going to call this lightning ball. I'm going to call it red to start. And what we're going to do is we're going to set this thing to be actually set to particles additive. So this gives us a nice little additive effect. And we're going to, where is our big force ball? Let's duplicate this and put it in here. We'll call it Big Force Ball 13. Why not? So this is the one that we're going to change to actually look nicer. First of all, we need to change it so that it spawns. So we're going to go to, in this game object is where we're doing the spawning here. We should really call this gun or something. And we're going to put our Big Force Ball here. And we're going to change the material line. I'm just going to drag lightning ball red onto here, and if we hit play right now, we should get this really bright white force ball thing, which is not exactly what we want. We want it to look like something. So we're going to just throw our texture in there for right now, and since we said red, I'm going to put this to red. So this texture is just something I generated in Neo Texture Edit. I just used one of the templates and then tweaked it till I had something that was. The nice thing about Neo Texture Edit is anything you make in it becomes a repeating texture. So this is a repeating texture, and so it looks good at the scene. We can even scale it up, and it'll change. So if we hit play right now, we'll have this little kind of glowing orb thing, and it doesn't look that interesting just yet. We need to actually give it some life. And the easiest way to do that is, since this is a repeating texture, we can actually offset it, and it will be the same, effectively, no matter where we offset it. It will still repeat, it'll just change where it repeats at. And since it's already supposed to be lightning anyway, it's already supposed to have a semi-random thing, it doesn't even matter that much as long as there's not really obvious seams on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a script, create a C# script. We're going to call this script, what are we going to call this? We're going to call this random texture offset. And we're going to make this a little differently than we sometimes do. We're not going to just assume one texture name here. We're going to actually make it so that we can adjust any of the textures, because we're going to want that capability. First of all, because in the case of additive, tint color is actually what you're going to be changing, as opposed to just the diffuse color. It's actually a different variable, and so we don't want to just assume tint color. We want to be able to change that. So the easiest way to do that is to create a little class to contain our material that we want to change and the texture the texture name that we want to change. So we're going to go public class material info. And I'm defining this inside of our random texture offset class so that there's not conflicts in case we need something like this in another class or something similar but not quite the same. So we're going to have inside this a public material, and we're going to have a public string texture name. And let's default these as a useful default. So first of all, we're going to be using set texture offset. So I'm going to search for set texture offset Unity. And we're going to go into the scripting API. I just want to see. So main text is probably the best one to do as the default. So let's do main text underscore main text as the default. And let's not set a default for the material because we want that to be a reference that we drag in. So there's not really any useful default we can set here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into update here and we're going to make it so for each material info in, and we need actually something else. We need actually a list of these things. So this was our collections.generic. Excuse me. And we're going to create a list of these. So public list material info equals new list material info. We actually need to name this thing. That's not good. We need to put a name here. We're going to call this info. Actually, material info list is what we're going to call it. So for each material info in material info list. I guess we didn't technically need a list. We could have just made it an array. It doesn't matter. Either way will work. So for each material info and material info list, we're going to do info dot material dot set texture offset. Property name is going to be info dot texture name. And the offset, we're just going to do random dot inside unit circle. And actually, unit circle is probably not the best way to go, because that won't. Yeah, let's actually instead do new vector 3 random dot value random dot value. And I'm not going to put a third one because I actually wanted a vector 2. So vector 2, random value. So this should just get a value between 0 and 1 and a value between 0 and 1, which is actually what we want, not a circle. So we save this, and we're going to put this into a place on the scene. So I'm just going to create an empty object. We're going to call this material effects is what I'm going to call it. And I'll just put it at the top here. So, it's kind of sort of a manager. The reason I do it this way is we could actually make it so that the script attaches to the object itself. But if you do that, you could work on the shared texture, but you don't want to have one version of it for each version that you have in there. You actually just want to be affecting the shared material once. And the reason you want to be doing shared material is so that things continue to batch if they can. So we're going to throw random texture offset into material effects. And I forgot to do something, I guess. Why is this not? Oh, yes. This is important. So if you create your own class and you're like, it's not showing up in here, why not? Even though I created a list of it, this should totally work. You need to make sure that this is set to system.serializable. This means that Unity will attempt to serialize and save the data inside these classes. So if we hit that, there we go. Now you have a material info list. That's the biggest trick. So we're going to make this size of 1 for right now. We're going to drag in our lightning ball red into the material here, so lightning ball red. And the texture name we want is, I think, underscore tint. Let's try this. Underscore tint. And so if we hit play, Okay, it totally didn't work. Let's see. Main text, bump map, cube. If we go to the shader itself, it won't do that, will it? Tint color. Let's try tint color. Let's see if that fixes it. So if we do tint color and hit play. Oh wait, that's not what we want. We want the... Yeah, that's silly of me. Particle texture. So that might actually just be main texture. So I realized our default didn't actually save in, so that's unfortunate. That's one of the problems with the serialization, I guess. So what are we doing? We're going to material effects. We're changing this to, what is it in here? Main text. All right. Main text. Let's see if that works. There we go. So now we got this crazy looking lightning ball thing. That's awesome. So the way I made it a little bit brighter and crazier is I went ahead and just basically created 3 balls. So we're going to bring in our big force ball here, and I'm just going to duplicate it, and we're going to put them inside of each other. I'll just do 1 layer deep. And on these 2, we don't really want any of these features other than the mesh renderer. So we don't want to move forward. There we go. And I'm just going to duplicate lightning bolt red twice. We're going to call this red, green, and blue. And then change the colors appropriately. So this should be a blue. And this should be a green. And so we put this into our... So we put the blue onto one of these, and we put the green onto one of these, and then we go into material effects, and we set this to bigger, and so we do lightning ball green and lightning ball blue. So now if we hit play, we'll get this, now we won't because we didn't actually hit apply to the prefab. Do that, delete this one from the scene, and hit play. So, oh, messed something up. Alright, so let's make sure that our settings are right. Big Force Ball 13, let's just drag this in here. Let's bring a Big Force Ball 13 and see what it looks like. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to look. It's supposed to look all crazy like that. So, let's delete this now and give it one more shot. I think it was just picking up one of the sub things. Yeah, it was. There we go. Looking good. So we got this cool little lightning ball thing. Looks much more powerful than what we had before. I'm also going to make it a little bit bigger. If we go to Big Force Ball 13, bring it back in. The only thing that has a size is the first one, right? Yeah. So we'll make this like 10. See how that looks. Hit apply. Just going to leave that one in the scene for right now. And yeah, that looks more like a much more powerful thing. It's being shot out there. So that's cool. So while we're in here, I just wanted to fill in a couple more effects that I had done on the demo. On the demo, we have this this like red glow kind of around the player, and the way I did that is just simply with fog. We just go to render settings, we turn fog on, we set it to linear, and then we make it so that it actually starts at a higher point, so 25, then it ends. And then we make it red. And so this makes this red glow kind of around the player. So if we hit play now, you'll see that we have this glow, and as we come close to our... Why is this not pushing nearly as hard as it used to? I never actually get that set up. What do we have for the stationary force ball here? Radius 10, yeah, that's not enough. We want it to be 25. So where's this thing found? This is, we're going to select this. I'm going to go ahead and grab this and put this into lightning balls so that we don't affect anything else. We're going to call it stationary force ball 13. And we're going to, it's already changed. That's scary. I don't like that just happened. Where's my station? Okay, undo. Can't undo that naturally. Whatever. I don't even know where this was. I'll figure that out later. All right, not going to worry about it. I'm just going to change the radius right now, just so that we have it so it looks cool. It is at the edge. So now it just becomes a slight shade of red as you get close to things, and things blow away from you, and it's cool. And we've got this red glow going out from our character. And then finally, we want to give some life to this texture, which we actually created the script that we need to do that, which is just that random offset. So all we're going to do now is we're going to duplicate our... Oh, we don't even have to duplicate it, it'll be fine. So in material effects, we're going to add one more element. We're going to do 4, and then we're going to make this last element be the reflective cubes texture. And what we're going to change the texture name here to is bump map _bump map. This is also shown here, so bump map here. And we're going to then hit play, and in theory, we should have this, yeah, so now we have this scintillation on the texture here. And now we have all the effects that I showed on the little cube demo that I threw together. And yeah, almost all of them. There's just this little flash effect that was just, all it was is just a particle effect using the flash texture here. I'll let you leave an exercise. It's very similar to how we set up the red particles on the cubes. So I'm not going to worry about that. Anyway, cool. So that worked. Thank you for watching, and you guys have a great one. And I'll catch you, I might catch you tonight. I'm supposed to have an episode tonight, but we'll see what happens. I've got some things that might have to take priority over that. So my apologies if we don't have an episode tonight. And otherwise, I'll catch you tomorrow in the AM. Thank you very much, and you guys have a great one.